before we start, several of you might have this preconceived notion that most of India is either a rightist person or a leftist person, conservative traditional or progressive liberal. This could not be further away from the truth. Most of you know that everyone has both conservative thoughts being from India and liberal progressive thoughts, especially the youth. To solidify this belief of mine that nobody is either completely right or completely left, we want to start by doing this. And now let's begin. So let's address the elephant in the room first. Your leader Rahul Gandhi has very clearly told that he does not want to be president. It's been like this for a year. Stop living in this fantasy that he's going to come back and lead you out of this misery. He's not. He doesn't want to. He doesn't like it. He doesn't like the spotlight. He doesn't like the pressure. Just get out of this vacuum that you're living in. The Congress has a leadership vacuum so big that they had to call back a retired person to come back. And she's not doing a great job either. She's not a person who can converse in Hindi. She's a great political shrewd strategist, and right now she should be doing what Dilke Advani is doing, that is just moving aside and making the young guard come in. It's a disaster at the leadership level. You need to solve this by... It doesn't matter if you hold elections within the CWC for your new president. It doesn't matter if you have something like an electoral college where you have MLAs, MPs. You need to just infuse your cadre with some confidence that there is leadership at the top. You need to stop reacting to situations and you need to start acting to the situation with some initiative. Right now you're failing the whole country because this country has so many diverse people, and right now there's only one party that's dictating the narrative, and you people are struggling to even counter his normal narratives on big decisions. He's shocking you with every big decision that can be taken. Mr. Modi knows that you people are weak, and he is not just letting you be weak. He's putting his advantage, driving it and knocking you further and further into the ground, and you people don't even want to change that. It's such a shame, and grow up, man. This is bullshit. Whole India is actually counting on you to show some sort of resistance to him, and I'm not trying to advise you. I'm trying to tell you that you're failing the country, if not yourselves. You failed yourselves long ago when you lost the elections, but you're failing the country by not even standing up to the opposition, as the opposition to the main government right now. I don't think we need lessons on how to improve ourselves from you. I think we need to understand why we have been losing elections. And if you think that we're not standing up to the government as an opposition, you are incredibly wrong. It is when the entire Galwan attack happened, it was our leaders who stood up for our army first, who questioned the government and not the army. It was our initially when the Shramik trains were announced, the government said that the fare has to be paid by the migrant workers themselves, and when our leader Sonia Gandhi said that she will pay the fare for most of the workers, that's when the government decided to waive off fare for the migrant laborers. These are not things that you will see being portrayed in the media. These are the things that the Congress has been doing. And we have news coming today itself that two fishermen in Kerala were shot by Italian Marines, mistaking them to be pirates. You have always campaigned against the Italian Marines and the case that has been going on for so many years. But what have you done about it? You have done absolutely nothing. The difference is you go and show to the world what you're doing and what we are not, or what we have supposedly not done, and you own all these media houses and you portray a very hunky-dory story of yourselves and your government, and that's not true. We have been constantly telling and doing work against the government and opposing them and their ideology, but that's just not being shown to the people because you own the media houses. If you go to the ground level and see what people think, then the liberals do believe that the party in power is a party that's just there with very wrong ideology in general. There's another point that is so enraging. You people, you guys have the worst marketing team that any party has had in ages. For heaven's sake, Deepika Padukone has a better marketing and PR team than you guys. She made more mileage for her film from the anti-CAA riots than you people did throughout your entire campaign. It's so horrendous to think that that for you guys to believe that one-liners, tacky one-liners like Chaukidar Chor hai, which will grab headlines in news debates for 2-3 days. You think that these are the things that win you elections, and you believe that your marketing team is doing an outstanding job to constantly believe in them when it's clearly not working out. Your marketing team is so inept. They're not politicians. They're people who think things work. It doesn't, again, if you guys can't find good marketing people or good strategies, just take them from other parties. You guys have resources. If you can't cultivate them, which you clearly are not doing, then start cultivating them. Do something to change the narrative. If you don't fire your marketing team and continue to listen to what they're doing, you will continue to be treated as a joke. You guys are more than a joke right now. Stop doing this nonsense. If you want to be treated as a joke, then why don't you just quit politics? Stand up. And right now, there's so many things in the current scenario where everything in the pandemic is open to criticism or to questioning, constructive criticism at least, because this is a situation that no government has faced before. And you people your entire party is, from the spokesperson level, is not even attempting to have criticism or show constructive criticism. I mean, Modi called you for an all-party meet. You never demanded an all-party meet on anything. Your spokespersons are going on television and saying nonsensical things like, not a spokesperson, in fact, your ex-president himself went and said it, that who allowed the soldiers to walk into Galwan without weapons? Idiots. Both the Indian Army and the PLA agreed that there would be de-escalation and there won't be weapons in the de-escalation process and the talks. Now the Indian Army kept up its promise, and you are like, who allowed them to go weaponless into the valley in the middle of the night? You are questioning the honor and the word of the Indian Army. How dumb can you guys get? Again, I'd like to make it very clear that we never questioned, the party, the Congress president, or whoever was speaking as Congress spokesperson, they never questioned the army, they questioned the government's silence. They asked for a plan of action, and they raised all these valid points in the all-party meeting that was raised. The fact of the matter is, India had a bloody skirmish with the Chinese soldiers, and the country doesn't know enough about it. The whole debate is being centered around nationalism and topics surrounding army and the government's policy, but nobody's talking about what the plan of action is forward. You guys are again saying you're pursuing your right wing thing of anti-trade sentiments that you're pursuing. You're just using populist sentiments. You're not thinking long term for the country, and that's the most detrimental thing that you've been doing for ages. For the last 5 years, you're throughout your first term, you're thinking about populist schemes like Make in India, which has shown disastrous results, and Swachh Bharat campaign, where you keep pumping in funds towards the Swachh Bharat, but there's no outcome out of that either. India is not any cleaner than it used to be. Coronavirus pandemic has done more for cleanliness than you people done with all the money that you have spent. So don't pursue this, don't show us this nationalist image of you guys and prove to us that you're patriots, because we're all patriots. Try and do some work on the ground, which is what we are trying to question you on. The whole liberal agenda is to question you on development. Based on how you came into power is development, so you should be working on that rather than pursuing your own marketing scheme of your IT cell and your army of bucks that pursue your marketing agenda that you people have. I don't know if your party knows or in fact, they should be conducting surveys, and I don't know how effective your surveys are. I have not seen any survey being conducted or being talked about anywhere. The day the Congress party starts thinking itself as a non-minority party, minority appeasement party, and starts thinking of itself as a party for the entire progressive youth or populace of this country, that's when they'll start attracting a lot more voters. Until then, you guys are going to be decimated by the majoritarian approach that the BJP will take. And the BJP has no need to change its stance because they have a vote bank ranging from Dalits to upper caste to every Hindu. They don't need to change, and everyone is united by development now. And until you guys can give them other than your minority appeasement bullshit, nothing's going to work. But your party continues to think of itself as a minority party, that, and then you say things like we're inclusive, we like secularism, and we want to make sure everyone is included in our development plan. You fail to understand that there's a large liberal youth that is very anti Modi but does not want to vote for you because you guys are dumb. You need to try and start tapping into that youth. You need to encourage, see your leaders like Captain in Punjab, and right now I can name only Captain, who seems to be doing a great job. Everyone else is doing a horrible job. But if you don't encourage people like Captain to sort of try and tap that youth who will vote for you because they are definitely against Modi's policies, you're losing out. You're doing the most heinous crime of not even trying, and that's worse than even trying to exist. You're not even trying to tap that potential youth that can vote for you, and you're not even growing local leaders. Just think of the thing. If you start giving to opportunities other than your young guard, your entire cadre will believe that they themselves have a chance to grow. And right now, nobody thinks that they can grow in the Congress party because they still believe it's a dynastic party where your own friends and family and all get the opportunities. If you, for once, if you just try and think that and give an opportunity to new people, to several people, to learn from Narendra Modi himself, for heaven's sake. He says Atmanirbhar Bano, man. Try and be Atmanirbhar, man. Just gain from your own talent and give opportunities to your own people rather than trying to snatch people from others, or rather than trying to use the people from your families who have no political experience. They have just seen their father go into office. This is horrible. Your systems are so dysfunctional. There's no talk of you guys trying to change the narrative at all. If people are to believe that you guys are the change and the direct contrast to the BJP, then you have to do something that makes them talk and look back at you and be like, oh, that was not expected. What did these guys do here? How are these guys making decisions that change the natural course that you people have been taking since 2004 or even before that? If you guys don't want to make the change, then you guys are not going to win elections. Don't think and live under this bubble that Narendra Modi will go because of anti-incumbency. Indira Gandhi and Nehru never went because of anti-incumbency, and this guy is on the same lines. He's not going to go just because of anti-incumbency. Your Prime Minister, Mr. Manmohan Singh, went because of anti-incumbency. If you do not have the strength to remove Modi from office, he is not going to go from office. Understand? I think you, just like you're saying that the opposition has failed, you, just like your the other bucks, should go read the newspaper once in a while. Because if you observe the CAA protests, the anti-CAA protests that were held before the lockdown, the Congress was at the forefront of the CAA protests, and it was definitely a planned way of understanding of what the CAA, NRC, and NPR stood for, and how we are opposed to that completely. The Congress held an all-party meeting on how all the parties of the entire country, all opposition liberal parties of the country, inclusive parties, I wouldn't call them liberal parties, secular inclusive parties, should approach the CAA. The Congress was led that meeting. The Congress leaders protested all over the country. The Congress leaders were arrested all over the country for protesting. Sonia Gandhi herself made statements all over saying that how this CAA is a prelude to the NRC and the NPR. I don't think you've gone and read. I urge you to go and read newspapers like the Hindustan Times, in January, there are several articles where the Congress showed exemplary leadership skills in bringing all secular forces together in trying to oppose the CAA. The CAA obviously would not have become such a big focal point if the Congress, if the movement did not have political mileage, and if you think the Congress was not at the forefront of that political movement against the CAA, how do you think the protest became so big? I don't. You think it's a student movement that became so big? Who supported the students? Who gave an impetus to the students by showing them that they are not alone in their protests, that even the politicians stand with them in their protests against such a draconian bill. You say such vile statements like go try living like a Hindu in Pakistan or a Hindu in Saudi Arabia. You will feel what minorities, you will experience what minorities. Well, shouldn't we set a better example by showing how minorities in India are treated? And if you bring out bills like CAA, then obviously you are doing the same thing that Pakistan or Saudi Arabia has done. It's the same measure that you're bringing in here. How are you proving yourself to be any different? Do you have any sense in what you're talking? Okay, I don't want to continue talking about the Congress. If I wanted to, I could bash the Congress for an hour, more than that, easily, and I would enjoy doing that. But we'll have to talk about other parties as well. Let's go to Aam Aadmi Party. Obviously, the Aam Aadmi Party, just after winning an election in Delhi, has proven that in governance they have the ability to convince voters that they are capable of doing something. So how do they become a national force? I think Arvind Kejriwal is a very smart and shrewd person. He knows that for him to become a national force, he has to develop local leaders at throughout the country. He has to have a very strong ground level cadre system that I think he's working out. But as long as Arvind Kejriwal thinks that he can gain some mileage by opposing Modi, he's going to be portrayed by the BJP and their legendary troll army as a dumb guy who doesn't know what he's talking about. Arvind Kejriwal's strength that he himself has proven is his governance model. Not right now with the situation in Delhi, not right now, but in general, before the elections were held, it was obvious that people were going to bring back Aam Aadmi Party with a good majority because of the work that he had done in Delhi. The people believed in him. That's what he needs to be selling. He needs to be out there on the national front doing what Modi himself did with the Gujarat model. He needs to go and tell the people, this is what we did in Delhi. Give us the chance to do this in other states. He needs to start with Punjab. And in Punjab he has captain to deal with. And the Akalis are dead over there. Pray that they continue to be dead over there, just like how the Congress is dead in every other state. Aam Aadmi Party needs to understand that they are not equal to Modi yet. They can be. They had golden opportunities in the past to become a great national party by now, easily. But they have squandered it by trying to take on Modi directly when they are not ready to take on Modi. Give yourselves some time, patience, and develop yourselves before the youth of the youth of the country might actually, liberal youth might actually swing away from the Congress and vote towards the Aam Aadmi Party if the Aam Aadmi Party develops itself properly. The next opposition party that I will talk about is definitely another elephant in the room in West Bengal. And the easiest way to describe Trinamool over there is an anti-Modi but similar to Modi. A very loud person who is heading the Trinamool Congress over there with Mamata Banerjee. But again, the narrative that's being built with the youth around her is that she's a person who just opposes Modi for everything. She doesn't understand the good, the bad, the ugly of any policy decision that the Prime Minister makes and just has to oppose it. And you can see that with the pandemic. Just because Narendra Modi and the centre makes a decision, and many of the decisions made by the centre with respect to the pandemic are good decisions, and she opposed them, and that is why West Bengal is suffering. If a leader does not have the insight to think about her state and the people of her state and thinks opposing Modi and is more important, I don't see how the people of the country are going to vote for her if she ever wants to become Prime Minister. the she all of these people who see themselves as national players, Arvind Kejriwal, Mamata Banerjee, they are chief ministers. The only way they can come to the national front is if they sell their state models so effectively that the people buy into them. And right now, they're not focused on selling their state model or working towards making their states model states. They're just working on how to project themselves as Modi's opposition. And Modi is a national figure, a national leader. He was not before 2014, but he actually was, because from 2009 he had started campaigning throughout the country. You guys are not campaigning throughout the country. You guys are focused on your dominion states, and that's where you're campaigning. Stick to it. For heaven's sake, stick to it. Your regional parties. Aam Aadmi Party might become a national party if it does well in the future and if it develops itself. The TMC is not a national party. It's not. It tries and stands elections everywhere, but she doesn't campaign everywhere. And even if she does try and campaign everywhere, in the end, she's a Bengali. She's going to have a Bengali accent. She's not going to know Hindi properly, English properly. She's not going to be able to communicate in the south. She's never going to be able to get mileage in Maharashtra, Hindi heartland. She's not a national leader. She should stop behaving like one. The only place where she can show that she is a legitimate national succession leader to Narendra Modi is in parliament and by selling her own West Bengal model. Other than that, I don't see it anywhere else. Kerala is ruled by the communists, and they have done an exemplary job in combating COVID, far better than BJP ruled states all over the country. You see the situation in a state like how Odisha handled its cyclone. You see how the Aam Aadmi Party has been governing pre-corona, where they came back into power based on only their development. They are a more vocal opposition to the Congress in Punjab than the BJP or the Shiromani Akali Dal are. You see, you have to resort to all these tactics of Operation Lotus to get governments for you in Karnataka, in Rajasthan, as well as in at least you're attempting it in Rajasthan, and you have succeeded in Madhya Pradesh. You have to resort to all your dirty politics to be able to get governments, and you even tried that in Maharashtra. So don't tell us that we don't know how to govern or the opposition is not doing well. The Aam Aadmi Party is arguably one of the most important national voices because it has a development plank a plank that is worked on a major national city like New Delhi. The Trinamool Congress, how much you have invested into West Bengal, still managed to beat you in the Lok Sabha elections, and will definitely continue to beat you in the upcoming West Bengal elections as well. These are not parties. All these individual parties need not have to need not have to come into alliances to be able to beat the BJP. They can do well on their own. The Congress party does not need to ally themselves with these regional parties to do well. The Congress party has more than enough resources and skill, more importantly, to be able to win a majority on its own. But the problem is the media doesn't show the work that the Congress is doing because you have bought out all the media channels as well. So in the end, it's quite obvious that the opposition has done some development work, but they've all done it in different regions, and it's not one concerted effort to try and oppose Narendra Modi, and they're too disoriented. The only way that, first, for India is such a diverse country filled with so many different people, that it's not good for one narrative to be ruling the whole thing, and the opposition needs to step up. And it doesn't matter if it's one opposition or several opposition parties coming together. The whole objective is that as long as India has an opposition that's not doing well, to oppose or to challenge, oppose electorally, to challenge the Prime Minister on everything that he does, India has got a one-party state, and that's a big problem. That's a huge problem for a country that prides itself on being a democratic in our principle, but diverse in our day-to-day functioning. If we can't have a great opposition countering a great party that rules our government right now, it doesn't make sense. Understand something in context like. If the Congress was in power, and if say something like Galwan or some Pakistani terrorist attack happened, it would be it would be so outrageous to think for the Congress to think of making making any statement or any policy decision on national security or on national integrity without having a consultation with the BJP, because they know that the BJP will make such a hue and cry about it. In the UPA times, you had Sushma Swaraj and Arun Jaitley leading the two houses of parliament, who would have made a hue and cry about any national security matter or anything that challenged the right wing directly. You don't see that now in the opposition, and that's the main problem. If the narrative is led by only the government, you are going to get a country that has a single closed minded narrative being told to it, and they will start thinking in the same way. The Congress, other parties, doesn't matter. United, divided, together, independent, doesn't matter. Voices have to be so loud that that Narendra Modi has to take everybody's opinion, and it can't be a one-man show. As long as that narrative is sold to the people of India, and the people of India understand that one man cannot run our country, that's what the opposition needs to do for the sake of India, not just for their own sake, because they know they are politicians. They'll do what they need to do for themselves. They need to think about India now.